Hello, and welcome to another episode of Drag Talk with me, Ariel Allure, where we will be going over RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18, Episode 5, The Raider Queen Talent Show, Part 1. Before we get into the episode, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get this channel to 250 subscribers and let's grow this community. I also have a video I just put up of me doing Rasta pasta, so check that out if you want to cook something. We're trying to get this going. Thank you for your patience for all of those who have been watching. Your patience and your support is very muchly appreciated. By having the Raider Queen talent show in the middle of the season, it actually creates higher stakes. They've already are familiar with each other. They possibly had some challenges where there was teamwork involved. So there's friends, alliances, order. All of those things come into play when you have Raider Queen in the middle of the season. So the way it was set up is that they had to decide who split into weeks, who was going to go each week. Now, here is the part that I didn't get about this beginning is Ru comes in and tells them what the challenge is. It's Raider Queen, the queens that performed this week, the other half is gonna judge them, and then the week after it's vice versa, right? Then she looks at Vita and says, Vita, since you were the winner of the challenge last week, you get to decide what week you're gonna go. Yeah, y'all were gonna do that anyway, so Ru, where was the prize for Vita? Like, what was the advantage? Y'all were gonna do that regardless. Make it make sense. Thanks. So for me, that was hilarious. But then I'm gonna talk about the runway now before we get into the time. The category was Not Today Satin. And I'm about to blame this. I blame this solely and completely on Drag Race and this show. I am not a fashion girly like that, as you can clearly see. However, ever since I have watched this show, there is this thing that has always been said is that satin is one of the hardest fabrics to work with. And there's a lot of mistakes and flaws that can show up when working with said fabric. I have watched this show since the beginning and it has been said multiple times. So what I'm about to say is fully y'all's fault. Outside of about 3 looks, I want to know what happened to this whole runway. I want to know what the queens were told this runway was, and I want to know what happened to all of them. I want to hear the behind the scenes stories of all these looks, because again, outside of a few, this wasn't the greatest. Okay, judging this and critiquing this is going to be a little hard for me this week because I am recording this a little bit later. I have seen a few reviews, but I assure you that none of those reviews that I have seen is going to skew my own personal judgment. However, I'm going to have a hard time with this one because I am recording this after going to the Starstruck tour, and I've seen Mia and Vita in person. And if you want me to do a whole story time, it was supposed to be a vlog, but the vlog didn't work out. If you want me to do a story time, let me know in the comments down below about it. But I have seen Darlene in person, and Darlene is really cute in person. So I have a little bit of a different viewpoint about everybody now and trying to find a balance between reality, respect, as well as still judging this show. Starting in no particular order, we have Darlene Mitchell. Darlene Mitchell was giving me kind of like this Cinderella storyline. I don't know why everybody else was hating on the color combination. I actually thought the color combination was cute. Yeah, it was kind of periwinkle blue, some pink, and then you had this pop of burgundy. I don't think that pop of burgundy was bad. I actually liked it. However, I know they were getting on her about her shoes, but this shoe, do you have an in-between? It's like, okay, you went from too chunky to now this little heel. just in the middle. But even the way she presented it, she was feeling herself this week, and I loved it. Next up is Athena Dion. It wasn't bad. I go back and forth on it. Like, okay, aside from she has a gorgeous face and her mug is gorgeous and she looks gorgeous, taking that out of the way, the outfit itself, it's very Miami, it's very resort wear. If that was the point of it, she accomplished her goal. I don't know if, I go back and forth if it should have been as monochromatic as it was. I kind of wish sometimes when I look at it, I wish there was a little bit of a lighter pink, like on the inside of the coat was like a little bit of like a baby pink. But then sometimes I look at it and it's like, no, I do like it that all one hot fuchsia drag race pink. That's honestly what that was drag race pink, and I think that's why it worked so well. So she didn't look too bad. Go Athena. Next up is Mia Starr. Okay, this is where we start going into the what happened. I want to know what happened with this outfit. I love the concept. I love the color red. I'm not even going to drag it too much. If you just did a split, we could just have started with the split. We ain't even gotta do it to go too deep. It swallowed her because there was no separation, and it honestly just looked like this big old bowl and like material. I felt like it just swallowed her up. That's why I said, even if you just had a split or just had the material underneath that big old bowl form fitted more to her body, it would have worked a lot better. Kenya Pleaser. Now, Kenya Pleaser in her walkthrough, well, not the walkthrough, the voiceover, she even said that her outfit got messed up and that Jane Doan gave her, helped her out, and then she created this outfit. It wasn't that bad. It actually wasn't the most extravagant thing, no, but it wasn't that bad. She looked good. How I loved the face, the neck up, the face, the hair. It just went so well. So for her own sewing skills, and that's the crazy part, that outfit actually looked better than the sewing challenge outfit. So we know that Kenya Pleaser can actually has a skill. Like, she can create a garment. Sierra Mist, I go back and she's another one that I go back and forth with on her outfit, because I don't want the fact that for my love of rhinestones and shiny things, I don't want that to completely influence my judging. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, the jewels with the horns is a cool look. I think a lot of the character came from more so herself, her painting, her hair. I think more of that creativity. So from the bust line up, it goes together, and that's what made it pretty. Outside of that, for me, it was very plain and basic. So we'll get into her a little bit more. Discord Adams is the next one. I completely understood the concept because it was, Cruella. And if you saw that movie, the live action, there's this scene where she has like a newspaper dress from the garbage truck. So I understood it, got the concept. I did feel like it swallowed up Discord a little bit, but she looked cool. It was a decent outfit. Not my favorite, but decent. Jane Doan hated it. I hated it, and I am surprised at Jane. It looked like two different concepts, and she just threw them together. That dress, although the colors were beautiful and vibrant, it looked like a child's painting. That is one where I am curious as to the background. I want to know what the vision was. Maybe I'll do some research later and come back to you on that one. What was the vision behind? What was the mood board, the thought process? No. It looked like it was a last minute idea outfit. Oh, the satin dress wouldn't have been enough, so I'm gonna throw this bird on me, and then the hair with it. I personally don't care for it, which I'm shocked with Jane don't. Because she can put, even if like even if like her style, because she likes to do that old timey style, even if I don't really resonate with that, just the put together of it all, she always looks very pleasing to the eye. No, not this Nene Coco. Nene Coco is one I go back and forth with. She said in her voiceover, this is the first outfit that she didn't make herself. What is crawling in these weeds over here? Oh my gosh. This is the first outfit that she didn't make herself. And I want to see what she would have done for this category. I do. It's not a bad outfit. I just think 20% less. Yeah, 20% less of the drama, and I think it would have been cuter. Or if it was more all of this but as an actual ball gown, like an asymmetrical one shoulder ball gown split, and then have the different decorations, possibly made a boa with the satin, and then that had all the stars hanging down from it, I would have liked that. But I think I'm more of a gowns girl and femme and all that. This is a different silhouette. This is a different concept. It's not bad. It's just not my favorite. I would have styled it differently. These are gorgeous though, with that navy and the berry and that beautiful gold yellow. It's a really pretty color combination. And as usual, Nene's makeup. God damn, she better start doing some tutorials on YouTube. I want to see her do her makeup. Avanti Star. Let's get this first. That neck, makeup, hair, gorgeous. Let there be no mistake on how gorgeous that mug and that hair looked. That shade of red, even though some were saying it blended, I love that it was so blended into her skin tone. Oh my God. Love it. Again, outside of that, what happened? I'm more concerned about the time restraint on this one, because I did find out that she had problems with her outfit. I believe it didn't come in time, allegedly. That might be what the story was, is that it didn't come in time, so she had nothing for the category, so she had to make this within the workroom. I'm curious as to how much it was, how much time she actually had, because you know she won a design challenge. She can whip something up. So I'm like, you couldn't have done just a tad bit better? Like, what was your time constraint for this particular challenge and making the garment? Was it the day of, a couple hours? Not the greatest. And I know she can sew. That's what's like, I'm sad. I'm a little like, this wasn't Vita's week. We can't be perfect all the time. And we'll get into Vita also a little bit more in a minute. Mikey Meeks, I think, did hers smart. Had the very fitted look, and then the ribbon was around it. Also put, I believe, possibly a wire in it, so there was structure at the top of that piece. Very cute. This was one of my faves of the night, was Mikey Meeks's look. The big old bow. Did it right. Didn't mind how this was presented. Last but not least for the runway was Juicy Love Dion. Killed it. Now, in the episode, I believe she was the first one that opened up the runway, and it was category closed after that. I'm sorry, that was the best of the night. Best. Love. I'm loving that there was a common theme of like this berry tone color on this runway. Love this berry tone, but the berry tone with the green looked like Swiss chard. Looked like some glamorous ass Swiss chard, and I loved every second. Like Swiss chard or a good red leaf lettuce. That's what she looked like. A pretty behind dark leafy green that's just good for you. And my favorite of the night. Okay, now let's get into the talent show itself. I do have a few notes, so if you see me look down, that's what I am looking at. We started off with Sierra Mist, and she did a poem. It just didn't work out. It just did not work out. The performance costume was absolutely gorgeous, but the poem itself, I don't know. And I'm not trying to diminish what Ciara was trying to do, what she was trying to say. I don't know if Drag Race was the right audience for it. I believe had this been performed in an actual drag show, yeah, it works out beautifully. Drag competition, yeah, like in bars, in a theater, if this was a theatrical piece, it does work. Hell, I'll even say if she were to do this piece on like an all-star but in Canada, because I've noticed that the international sectors have a very different view of drag and are a little bit more experimental and a little bit more open to these things, it probably would have went over better on an international season. However, just the way the stars aligned with everything, it just didn't work, unfortunately. And I'm sorry to say that she was at the bottom and up for elimination. Sadly. She loved Dion. Amazing. 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 I have watched that performance over and over and over again. Everything from the face, from the outfit. You know she was a dancer, so she was going to show off those skills. It was perfection. My personal favorite part, everybody was talking about like, oh, the combo and her doing the split. But I love the way she was crawling like a robot spider cyborg or something. It was mwah, chef's kiss. Really great night for Juicy. If they would have had just Juicy win solo dolo, spoiler alert, it was a double win, I wouldn't have been mad if it was just Juicy. Next up was Nene Coco, and this was also one of my favorite performances of the night. I will say the way they set it up, of course, because they want to create anticipation, this was based around and possibly a shortened version of a number that Nene Coco has done before and has went viral for, so you could possibly see the full performance online. However, I believe they only have a minute to 90 seconds for the talent show, so it had to be shortened, perfectly shortened and timed. It was comedy, it was funny, she looked great. It had, oh, call me mother, so it was just, yeah, that was one of, like, depending upon what you were in the mood for. If you went for a dance number, it would have been Juicy. If you were in the mood for something a little bit more fleshed out number, I loved Nene. I would put Nene's talent under storytelling, and then she can also flip. Who knew? Nene was really good. I believe that Nene Coco's talent show is what Irene Dubois thought her Short and Water talent show would have been. Because I have heard her say that the talent show that she did with the cup of water was actually part of an extended performance, but when it shortened down, it didn't make any sense. But there are ways of doing it, and it can actually work. And Miss Coco proved that. Next up is Vita Von Teastar, and okay, again, this is where it is hard, but we must be honest and truthful. I have several questions about Vita's number. Number one, was this the original talent that Vita wanted to present? Number two, was there supposed to be dancers on the stage? Because if I recently just watched it right before filming this, and she has her steps set up, and then there were about 4 other step setups that looked behind her that looked like she should have had dancers, background dancers. I am very curious if this was the original talent. That's pretty much what it comes down to. When it comes to Vita, unfortunately, this was just not her week, and I am so sad about it. I always want Vita to present well. However, in the rankings, she ended up being safe, which, miracle. I do believe had this been the judges, doing a bottom 2 in an elimination, I do believe, unfortunately, she might have been in the possible, bottom 3. Minimum. Next up is Darlene Mitchell, and Darlene Mitchell had a little bit of a comedic, cheeky song. The only critique that I have for it is I wish she interacted more with the set. The set was absolutely adorable, and it looked like all the parts could move, not just the drill. I could be completely wrong about that, but I wish she was more, while she was singing, like she had some choreography and interacted with that whole big old toolkit playset that she had right next to her as the props. I believe it would have helped with the performance even more so and made it a little bit more entertaining, but I thought it was very cute. Last but not least was Mia Star. It was the smartest thing, because they also had to pick the order in which they performed smartest for her to close. Smartest. I don't know how they came to it, but yes, it was absolutely correct. It was perfection. I absolutely loved it. As soon as that beat dropped, it was everything. It is so true to who Mia Star is, as well as showing you some of the background that Mia Star possesses outside of drag, because she did Dance with Stars and did the whole little Britney bit. Yeah, some people are trying to be haters on it, like, oh, she's not, dancing. I thought it would have been more and all this choreography. That was choreography. Hitting those beats, being sharp, hitting points, emoting. It goes well together so badly. When she took off the wig and she had that little buzz cut, it reminded me of Doja Cat's cut from the Best Friend video with Sweetie. I loved it. Even the judges, the guest judge, like, this is part where she gets real into it with her. That, and I believe she is a pop star, like a new pop star. I'm forgetting her name right now. Forgive me. But if a pop star is getting into you, Mia knows she has a background in this. She has been with pop stars. She knows what kind of beats, even though it was hip hop, it still had like these little certain hits within it that it's diverse. It's a crossover hit. There's a reason why you had Juicy Love Dion and Mia Star as the top two. Very well deserved. I completely understand why it was a double Shantae. Yeah, it was even the whole... Spoiler alert. Ooh. Was that an earthquake? Huh. The floor just shook. As I was saying, because I started rambling a little bit, I saw a lot of hate in the comments of her performance, talking about, oh, she wasn't really giving. No, that is a certain style of dance. Y'all are so used to the Juicy Love that's why I love that Juicy and her both were in the top two and they both won, because it shows that both styles are equally relevant and equally important and both deserve their praise. You could have the Juicy Loves and the splits and the boom cats and that kind of dancer, but you could also have your hip hop dancer like Mia. It's different, it's choreographed, and it's just as excellent and deserves. How about y'all learn to diversify yourselves? Be more open-minded. It actually helps, expose yourself to different avenues and cultures respectfully. It actually, it's good for you. Trust. It won't hurt you. It's good for you. So they do rate a queen, and at the end of it, Ciara ends up being at the bottom, and she is up for elimination. She will go against whoever is up for the bottom in next week's part 2. As of the filming of this, I have not seen part 2 yet, so I don't know who goes home. I don't know who's in the top. I don't know how part 2 went at all. As previously mentioned, in the top was Juicy Love Dion and Mia Star, and they had a double win. It was one of the best for this season, top lip syncs of the season. It's going to be remembered. Love it. We gotta wait for part 2 and see what goes down and who's gonna go up against Ciara Mist. So that is all for part 1 of the Rate a Queen talent show.